You were always driven by other desires that were more important to you than religion, than truth. And so we know that you swap religions for those desires. You've got to free yourself of those desires before you can commit yourself to truth.
Turn the other cheek. He said, you know, love your enemies.
Are you a disciple of Jesus now?
I am.
You are. So
As
you believe,
all Muslims are, by the way.
as all Muslims are. Okay, he's so confused right now. He's just said on camera that I'm not a Muslim, but he's just said I'm a disciple of Jesus, as all Muslims are. The guy is confused. He doesn't even know who he is. Right? But don't you see, when I oppose them, I'm actually standing in front of you, trying to protect you from them.
Right.
That would now say that you should be killed. Yes. Ali Dawah, the guy that converted you to Islam with false promises, right? Yeah? He's on record saying people like you should be killed.
He said it to me personally.
He said it to you personally?
Yeah.
Right. So why then, Luca, do you not stand with people like me who are opposing people like Ali Dawah?
Because I don't fear being killed by Muslims in 2023 in the UK for leaving Islam.
So can I suggest to you that you, even though you've left Islam behind, Islam has still influenced you. You have an anger towards Christians that
I don't, honestly, I don't.
Well, your actions today demonstrate the opposite.
I have some anger towards you, I'll be honest.
You said Christianity has had its day. You attacked the church and you attacked Christians.
I'm sorry to say, Christianity was a political power. Unfortunately, you're not going to make it a political power again because, you know,
that's your belief.
Passed. Look, I want to counter Islam too. I just don't think standing in front of Hamas supporters in which terms
should we oppose the Islamists then?
Doing what you're doing now, speaking about it.
So that's what I'm doing, right. And you're condemning me for it.
You're advocating standing in front of Muslims, blocking their way.
I'm advocating standing in front of an Islamist march in support of an Islamist organisation that would kill you if you step foot in Gaza.
Their signs don't say Hamas, they say
they are carrying jihadi flags.
You don't know that they're Islamists.
Yes, no, not all of them.
Yeah.
And I actually, you see, the thing is, you weren't here at the beginning of the speech.
Okay.
You both came late, right? What I said at the beginning of the speech was that for many of the people that go to that protest, it really is about standing up for Palestinians. Right. But there are other agendas at play. Okay. And then my entire speech focused on those other agendas. But because you either arrive late or you were not listening.
Don't stand in front of
the
cenotaph and block people supporting Palestine.
Yes, you should.
Which you just said is okay.
Because yes, you should. Because those Islamists that are controlling this march and that are controlling this movement.
What's an Islamist, Bob?
Right, I'll tell you what an Islamist is, right? And I want to say to you that you have been influenced by Islamists.
I'm not scared of Islamists.
Yes, you are.
I've left Islam.
Right, yep.
I've said Muhammad's not a prophet.
Right, and I'm I'm the one trying to defend your right.
I don't need you to defend me.
Well, I am going to anyway, bro. You know why? You know why?
No,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because Jesus says to love my neighbor as I love myself. Yeah. You're my neighbor. You're not a Christian, brother, but you're my neighbor. And just as I don't want myself to be persecuted by Islamists or my Christian brothers and sisters to be persecuted by Islamists, I don't want you to be persecuted by Islamists.
But Bob, you are the Christian version of an Islamist.
Right.
You are what a Christian was back in the Crusade days or whatever. Or in the Inquisition days.
So let's talk about that.
Thug who uses the cloak of religion
so let's deal with
your political aspirations,
so let's deal with
as
that.
You've said.
So here's the thing, right? You still imbibe the anti-Christian sentiment. Let me finish my point. Let me finish. You've still imbibed the anti-Christian sentiment that you picked up when you were amongst the Islamists, right?
Just as against Muslims.
No. Let me finish. Now, he condemned me for saying against Muslims, but he just said it, which shows that you can misspeak. Because he didn't mean Muslims, did you? You meant Islamists.
Yes.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
What's your point?
So my point is, you should offer me the same charity of interpretation that I offered you.
Right.
Right? I just offered you. I just got you on camera saying I'm against Muslims.
Yeah, I'll say
right?
it as many times as you... no, sorry. Not
there you go.
Okay.
But did I jump on it and say, look, he's a bigot? No, I didn't. I offered him... I loved him.
Yeah, so don't stand against the Palestine
let me finish. Let me finish. I treat him like I want him to treat me. I offered him a charitable interpretation of his misspeak. Of his misspeak.
Trying to catch people out. You're like the Pharisees trying to catch Christ out.
Right, and so because he's just right, I'm just gonna
go on. You can't handle the
Luca, it's right. You're no big man, bro.
Yes, I am.
You're no big man
I'm
because you're no big man. Right, so stop trying to be scary. You never have been a scary guy, right? So stop trying it, bro. Now, let's come back to the fact that the reality is that I have given you a charitable interpretation to your misspeak that we have on camera, right? If we wanted to, and God forbid, no one should, right? We could lampoon you with what you just said, right? But I didn't,
you're a nice guy,
nor do I encourage it. Yeah. Why? Because Jesus teaches me to treat you like I want to be treated. So I just treat you like I want to be treated, which means that you should offer, I'm inviting you now to offer me the same charitable interpretation that I just gave to you. I've made it very clear in black and white terms, I am against Islamists, not Muslims. Right? You need to take that on board in your thinking. Right? Because you just stood here, and we have you on camera, telling me that I was stirring up hatred against Muslims. You lied about me. Slandered me.
I'm going to stand by that comment. What I'm going to say is...
So he's going to slander me again?
Because you have said to me personally, and like, tell me whether this is true or not.
Yeah, I'll correct you.
There are people here in Speaker's Corner.
There are people here.
And you told me that they should be executed. That you would
so
them executed.
So
yes or no?
I'm going to address that.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's a yes or no question.
So I'm going to address that. So I have said that Islamists should be hanged. I have.
People in Speaker's Corner.
They should get Islamists,
right now,
Islamists, right, should be outlaws. Right? What happens to an outlaw is that they don't receive the protection of the law, which means that the people can do whatever they want to them. Right? It won't be the state that executes them. The state just declares them an outlaw, and then other people will deal with the Islamists. And I guarantee within 1 year of passing that law, the Islamists will be back in the sewers where they belong. That's where
did Christ say that in the Gospels?
Now, ladies and gentlemen. Right. So coming back to you. Right, now, but the point is, this is how confused Luca is.
I'm not confused.
He's so determined to oppose me that he doesn't recognize that I'm trying to protect him. I'm trying to protect you. Because if these Islamists ever win, Luca, unless you give your Shahada again, and knowing you probably will, but unless you gave your Shahada again, right, if these Islamists ever win, you'd be for the chop. Your head would be cut off with a knife.
You'd be for the chop too.
Yes, I know I would. But I'm not an idiot. I'm against the Islamists. I'm willing to stand against Islamists.
I just don't believe in violence.
So now I don't believe in violence. I believe in the rule of law, not vigilante. So now let's come back to the question, right? I propose this, that we should oppose the Islamists in terms of a muscular Christian faith.
So let's wave Palestine flags in the Palestine march on Saturday.
Right? You see, you're still influenced by the Islamists. So you're still influenced by the Islamists. That is a Hamas march. It's a Hamas march.
You're contradicting yourself.
It's a Hamas march.
You said not all the people in the march are Hamas.
Correct.
Now you're saying that
but the people that inspired it, the people that inspired it are Hamas. The people that called for it are Hamas.
No, it's Iran.
If you respond to the call of Hamas, who's inspired it?
Iran.
Hamas. It's a Hamas march.
Everyone in that march.
Right. So as Christians, and I've not claimed that they have. No, I didn't. You look. It's not my fault that you can't listen. It's not my fault.
I'm hearing you perfectly well.
It's not my fault.
I'm hearing you perfectly well.
Sorry, someone's microphone's dropped.
It's not mine.
Don't know. Clipping it onto the wrong part, bro.
You're criticising him for saying he won't listen.
Here, clip it. You gotta clip it onto. I don't know if it'll pick it up from there.
When did you last listen to anything?
On the wire, bro. Use the wire. There you go. Right. Honestly, coming to Speaker's Corner, you end up being like a walking microphone.
Are all the people on the Palestine march Islamists?
Luca,
are they all Islamists?
Luca, I'm going to ask you a question, right? as a Christian, I believe that we should oppose the Islamists from our identity as Christians. Right? Or a muscular Christianity is how we should oppose the Islamists. And what that means is this, that we use law and culture and economics and society to simply suffocate the Islamist movement. Suffocate it. Wherever politics is violence. You don't understand what politics is.
I've been made.
It's not my fault you haven't studied any political science at all. Politics is violence. Yes.
Wow.
Politics is because violence isn't necessarily beating someone over the head.
What is violence?
So politics can be three things. The use of power, the use of authority, and the use of influence.
Sound like the same thing to me.
Yeah. See, he doesn't understand political theory.
Power, authority, influence.
Yeah, you don't understand them. They're distinct. You're just showing now on camera how politically ignorant you are. Right? They're three different things. I would, but you have such. You're against me personally so much, and you're against Christians so much that you can't hear me even when I try to help you.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I can't. Like someone like you. Right, is not someone that I have the ability to help. And the reason why I can't help you, Luca, is because the Islamists influenced you to be against Christians and the church, and you personally don't like me because when you were a Muslim and you tried to intimidate me, I humiliated you. Until you can get over that, right, you will never be able to hear anything I've just said. All the way through this conversation, you have misquoted me and misrepresented me. You haven't listened to what I've said. You don't know about the topic that we're talking about. I would love to sit and talk with you, right? Get in touch with me and we will talk. Away from this corner, away from the cameras. I am happy to give you the time, but you need to come at it with some degree of sincerity, not just, I'm going to go at Bob because I don't like Bob.
I am being sincere.
But, no, you're not. You're motivated by your animus towards me as a person. That's why you stood here right now.
No, I'm motivated by what you are.
Right. So let's come back to a more intelligent conversation. Right. I've given you my terms that I believe we should oppose the Islamists on: Christian values, Christian doctrines, Christian culture, Christian traditions, Christian ethics. What do you propose that we should oppose the Islamists on? What is the basis for your resistance?
So I believe that the way that we oppose Islamism is the way that we oppose any hateful ideology, right, which is through love. Jesus said, love one another as I have loved you. He said, turn the other cheek. He said, love your enemies.
Are you a disciple of Jesus now?
I am.
You are.
So as all Muslims are, by the way.
As all Muslims are.
But I'm not a Muslim.
As a Muslim. I am as all Muslims are. So let's ask this question. Do you see how Islam is still influencing Luca? Literally still influencing Luca. He's so confused right now. He's just said on camera that I'm not a Muslim, but he's just said I'm a disciple of Jesus as all Muslims are. The guy is confused. He doesn't even know who he is. He doesn't know his own identity, so pray for Luca, right? Pray for Luca, right? So let's be clear. You've claimed to be a disciple of Jesus, right?
Yes.
And right? Does Jesus teach that he is divine?
In the Gospels, yes.
Right. So if you're a disciple of Jesus, do you believe that Jesus is divine?
No, because I believe you can pick and choose what you want to believe.
Right. So firstly, he is right. You can pick and choose what you want to believe. Like, everyone has that individual ability. And in a civic liberal society, he has the legal right to pick and choose what he wants to believe. But let me ask you this. Can Christians pick and choose what they want to believe about Jesus?
Apparently, yes.
No, they can't. So that means that you are not a disciple of Jesus. You're not a Christian.
Okay.
Right? Now, I want you to be a disciple of Jesus, but you can't have Jesus on your terms. You've got to have Jesus on his terms. And as you are educated enough to recognize, Jesus claims to be divine in the Gospels, which means that the only Jesus you can accept is the one that claims to be divine. Right? And I want you to do that, Luke. I want us to be brothers.
Yeah, I used to be a Christian.
I know you were, right? But you were someone who was always driven by other motives.
Okay.
You were always driven by other desires that were more important to you than religion, than truth. And so we know that you swap religions for those desires. You've got to free yourself of those desires before you can commit yourself to truth. And that is the way that you escape, Luca. Right? You've got to master your own passions. You've got to master your inner self.
Just renounce violence, Bob.
Right.
Well, Christ didn't preach violence.
So, is Jesus Christ a pacifist?
Yes, he is.
What is a pacifist?
It's somebody who believes in non-violence.
What did Jesus do when he went into the temple?
He turned over the tables of the money changers.
Go on. What else did he do?
Now, it says that he made a whip, but it doesn't say that he actually hit anyone.
Right. So what it actually says is he went into the temple, he fashioned a whip, and then he drove them out, man and beast. Right? Do you think, Luca, that these Jews are just going to go, oh, right, we've been doing this, and my fathers have been doing this, and we've been doing this for as long as anyone can remember. Oh, we'll just go because you said we'll go.
Yeah, he waved the whip around. It doesn't say he
No,
hit.
where does it say he waved the whip around?
Well, it says he made a whip.
No, you're putting words into the gospel that are not there.
It says
You're saying that the gospel says he waved a whip. It's in John chapter 2, and I believe it's also in Luke, maybe. I think it's in Luke as well. At the beginning, in the earlier chapters, it doesn't say that he waved it around and scared people. That is
doesn't
what.
say he hit anyone either.
But if you drive out man and beast, if you drive them out, that is an act of violence. If someone came right now with a whip and used it to drive us all away, would you all go around? Would you all go to the police and go, look, a pacifist is over there? You wouldn't, would you?
No, they'd arrest you for being racist.
No, they'd arrest him. They'd arrest him. They'd arrest him on the basis of carrying a weapon. So Jesus made a weapon. Yeah?
May I just interject?
It's up to Luca because I'm talking to Luca. Do you want to allow him in?
I don't know.
Okay, come in.
Luca, right. It was a quick question. Do you interpret Luke 22, chapter 22, verse 35 and 36, or do you take it as read?
I'd have to read it and look at it.
Okay.
What was quote it?
Then Jesus asked them, when I sent you out without purse or bag or sandals, did you lack anything? Nothing, they answered.
Yep.
Now, however, he told them, the one with a purse should take it, and likewise a bag, and the one without a sword should sell his cloak
and buy one. Yeah. So this is a great verse to think about. When we talk about whether Jesus was a pacifist, this is a great verse to think about. Sure. Jesus was moving around Palestine with armed men. Men who carried daggers. Those daggers were used for everything. It's like your Swiss Army knife.
Doesn't say that.
Right? It was used for nets. It was used for cutting your food. But it was also used on the highways to defend yourself. To defend yourself against violent men. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus instructed his disciples to go out and to buy swords, and then they showed him, two swords, and Jesus said, "It is enough." Why? So that all the scriptures might be fulfilled. What scriptures is he referring to? That he might be found amongst the sinner, the brigand, the violent man. Jesus said, when Peter cut off the ear of the temple servant, when he cut off the ear,
I just quoted that scripture.
And we're going to stop because of rain.
Right. So wrap up this.
Right. He said, put away your sword. He didn't say throw the sword away. And he said, I have 12 legions of angels at my disposal. In the Lord's Prayer we say, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. If Jesus has at his disposal armies in heaven, what should he have on earth? Armies at his disposal.
Sophistry.
Armies is what the church needs. There's no state backer to the church. It needs to organise legally instituted and functioning armies. Grab your microphones, I'm going to stop for the rain.
Luca. Luca.